Last month, my mom decided that she wanted a new sofa for her living room, and being the good daughter that I am, who prefers to spend other people's money to spending my own, I volunteered to go with her. We walked into the furniture store and we said to the salesman there, "We'd like to buy a sofa." And he said, "Oh, I don't know what a sofa is." I said, "You don't know what a sofa is?" He's like, "Oh, did you mean a couch?" I said, Yeah, we want to buy a couch. Sure, yeah, we want to buy a couch. He said, "Well, there's a couch. Do you want that couch?" He said, "Yeah, that is a couch. We'll take it." And then we went and got lunch. Does that sound like the way that people shop? Does that sound like the way that people go look for information or buy new products? Absolutely not. We didn't just pick the first couch that we saw. Instead, we went and looked at probably 50 different couches, and my mom ended up choosing this very specific love seat that has the recliners that go out, and it has the Bluetooth headset that has the speakers in it from the TV, and it has a USB port, and it's like super tech savvy couch. Turns out that's a thing that you can get now. Meanwhile, the last time I went for a couch, I was like, what's something that doesn't show dog hair and also is big enough to fit a baseball team? Those are my requirements. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the ways that people search for things and the fact that the one keyword rule that you might be following on your website may or may not apply to the way that your audience is looking for what you sell. So stick with me and I'll be back with that right after this. Hi, I'm Meg Casebolt, the founder of Love at First Search, where we help online businesses to show up in search results and then turn those new visitors into leads, subscribers, and sales. Today, I'm going to extend this metaphor of the furniture store where Google is the salesperson who is going to guide your visitors to the metaphorical couch that is the post or product or portfolio page or whatever kind of content you're creating on your website. And I wanted to make that clear before we get started, that even though this metaphorical website furniture store that I'm talking about, I'm going to be talking about products as an example, the metaphor applies to whatever you're creating. So every podcast episode, every video you create, every image you upload, every blog post you write, every portfolio or case study that you create can be found for something a little bit different. And every piece of content that you create can be found for an infinite number of search terms. So let's get back to my furniture store. Let's take this example a little bit farther. We, as the guests, walk in, the salesperson comes up to us and says, "What can I help you with?" We say we want a couch. He wouldn't just say, "There's a couch." He would say, "How big do you want it to be? Do you want it to be in a living room set? Do you want it to be leather or upholstery? Do you want a pattern on it or do you want a solid color?" There are so many different questions that a salesperson can ask to get you to the right place. And often those questions are taking place before you as a visitor even walk into the store. You might know walking in, I want a living room set with an accent chair and I want it to be gray and blue and it needs to be these dimensions. So you might be able to skip a lot of those questions that the salesperson would ask you and just go directly to the room that you're looking for. So I want you to imagine your website as a furniture store. And every room in the furniture store has something that's just a little bit different. Some are sectionals, some are love seats, some are living room sets, some are leather, some are recliners. Each of those rooms is like a category on your website. And people can either walk in the front door through your homepage, or they can be metaphorically dropped directly into the sectional room or the leather furniture room. They might be able to skip that entryway altogether and just get to the point where they get to try on the furniture, try out the furniture, sit on the furniture. You don't try on furniture like clothes, Meg. And then I want you to think of every piece of furniture in your website furniture store as having more than one interesting thing about it. If you have a room of leather couches, your salesperson wouldn't just say, "That's a leather couch, and that's a leather couch, and that's a leather couch." Even though all of those are leather couches, they might say, "That one's green, that one's blue, this one seats 3, this one has 3 couch cushions versus 2 couch cushions, this one comes with an ottoman." Every single one of those couches can be slightly different. And the same is true for the content on your website. If every blog post that you write is a couch, think about it seating 2 or 3 different keywords in each of those seats. So let me take this metaphor and turn it into something that feels a little bit more real. I have a category, a room on my website that is SEO tools. I have like 30 different free SEO tools listed. I have a bunch of different blog posts about the different SEO tools. And so those would be my couches. Every one of those tool reviews would be a different piece of content in my SEO tool category. And one of my couches, one of my pieces of content is review of the Keywords Everywhere tool and a tutorial about how to use it for Google. And then right next to that, I have another couch, which is a review of the Keywords Everywhere tool and how to use it to find keywords for YouTube. They're pretty much the same piece of content. They have the same approximate idea of this is a tool and here's how you can use it. But each of those blog posts ranks for over 30 different keywords. It can fit a lot of different ideas into the same post. And so instead of thinking of what is the one keyword that I need to rule them all, I want you to start thinking of your keywords as clusters and figure out how they fit together within the same spaces. So my post about the Keywords Everywhere tool and how you can use it for Google ranks number 11 for Keywords Everywhere, and number 15 for Keywords Everywhere extension, and number 17 for how to turn off Keywords Everywhere, and number 16 for is Keywords Everywhere free, and number 10 for how does Keywords Everywhere work? These are all variations on a theme. These are all different people sitting on the same couch. These are all different ways of describing the same piece of content. And then my related post about specifically how to use Keywords Everywhere for YouTube ranks number 10 for Keywords Everywhere YouTube. And also it ranks in the 60s for keyword research YouTube. It doesn't even have to be about that tool. It's the idea of keywords on YouTube that it's doing well for. So you can see both of those blog posts are related to each other. They both belong in the SEO tools category, but people who are looking for something specific can drop directly into the post that they need to, and people who don't quite know that what they're looking for can land in that room, and people who still don't know what they're looking for can come in through the front door and navigate themselves around using the main navigation, using the categories on the sidebar. They can sort of find their way and meander around the website. And by thinking of each one of your pieces of content, again, I'm not just talking about blog posts. This could include product descriptions, podcast show notes, anything that you're creating. By thinking of each of them as having a cluster of keywords and not just limiting yourself to one target keyword per page, you can actually tap into a larger volume of things that people could potentially be looking for. So as you're doing your keyword research and thinking about how you want different keywords to go to different pages or posts on your website, consider the fact that you could have an entire cluster of 30, 50, 100, 1,000 different keywords coming to the same page. That may or may not be the page that people are looking for. So if it's a general term and you have a category, they can then go a little bit deeper. Or if you have a blog post about one topic and then you have a related blog post, you can link to the other one that they might not even know that they need. Or if you have a product that meets a certain set of requirements and then you have another product that's really similar, link to that related product in your product description. And by recognizing that everything that you create can rank for an entire cluster of keywords and not just one singular phrase, it opens you up to lots of possibilities, and it takes the pressure off finding that one magical keyword, and instead you can think about an idea or an intention that you want that piece of content to do, and then allow people to use kind of a choose your own adventure to find their perfect metaphorical content couch. And finally, expect people to navigate wherever they want to go instead of thinking of your website like IKEA. Very rarely do people come in the front door of your website at your homepage and then go page by page, your about page and your services page, and read your entire blog from newest to oldest. That's just not how people behave. Even in a store like IKEA that has a very specific path of how you're going to go, they still have little shortcuts in there. So recognize that every page of your website can be found for something completely different, and think of it less as, overwhelming, oh my gosh, so many keywords, and more like, what are all of the different opportunities and ideas that this one piece of content can be found for? Hopefully that helps you take away some of the analysis paralysis and lets people drop into your website, either coming in through the front door or dropping in whatever room or couch they're looking for. This metaphor sounded a lot cooler before I started dropping people into like a building, but I hope that it holds up. If you thought this video was helpful, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back next week with even more tips about how to help people find you online and maybe even help you find the perfect couch for your living room. Who knows what you'll find after you learn these tips. See you then.